folks, this is Derek here at Growers, and today I want to talk to you about a question we get all the time in our garden department, and that's how can I get better results when grass seed? And I'd like to break it down into 5 steps, and let's get right to it. The first step is to prepare your soil. That means getting rid of dead grass, moss, any weeds that might still remain. Let's get rid of all that. And let's loosen up the existing soil. So let's take a metal tine lawn rake, something like that, to loosen up the soil. Maybe we need to go at it with a shovel as well. See what we're left with at that point. The general rule of thumb is we need about an inch or so to feel comfortable with where we're at. If we're not quite there, then consider getting a bag of topsoil, or even maybe like a mushroom compost, and sprinkling that down. But it's very important. I cannot stress that step enough. We need good seed to soil contact, and that's only done if we get loose, bare, loose soil to work with. Step 2, here we go. Step 2 is to pick out the right grass seed for your climate. That means focusing on extremes. If you have sunny areas, make sure you get a sunny bag. If you have areas that are prone to a lot of shade, where you're only getting 3-4 hours of sun, let's focus on a dense shade bag. So those are what we're looking for. A lot of times a sun and shade bag can bridge the gap across the entire lawn, but if you have any pockets of extremes, we do recommend you go in that direction. When we're applying these products, just kind of apply them like you're putting jimmies on a cookie, something like that. We don't want to over apply because it's a bit wasteful. It's not the end of the world though. If you under apply, obviously you may still be left with a thin lawn. So general rule of thumb here is kind of jimmies on a cookie is what we like to think about. And just kind of make sure it's evenly dispersed. Step 3, so we've got our loose soil, we've got our grass seed on top. Now we need to cover that grass seed up just a little bit, and this step's important too. This will prevent the grass seed from drying out so quickly. You can imagine the sun hits that top layer of soil, and it's dry quick. So by putting down a moisture retentive top coat, something like peat moss, that's going to go a far way with you to see good results here. Peat moss is our recommendation. It's something that degrades. You don't have to worry about lifting it up. Other suggestions would be just to use a rich soil or a real high quality topsoil, mushroom compost. Some people have a leaf compost in their yards. Anything like that would be sufficient. The general rule of thumb too here is let's focus on not too much, only about 1/4 inch. So we don't want to go overboard with this top coat. Step 4 is fertilize. And a lot of people don't realize how important this might be, but I mean, hey, new grass, it's grown at an alarming rate. It needs nutrients, and not just nutrients from any bag of food, but nutrients from a starter food. Starter foods have lots of phosphates in them. It helps for roots and shoots. So that's obviously what we're targeting here with a new lawn. So starter food, remember that. Alright, we've made it to step 5. And step 5 is extremely important, once again, and that is to water, water, water. And I say that over and over again because it is a time-consuming step, but extremely important. With watering, I like to tell people, go ahead and get out there in the morning, give it some water. Make sure that it's enough to survive the heat of the day, and by putting down the top coat and stuff, that's certainly going to help us out there. Then check it again. If we haven't gotten any rain, definitely do check it around dinner hour and see if it needs a little bit more to get through the night. But frequency is more important than going overboard here. It's often that top layer that gets dried out, but beneath or still sitting in decent moisture conditions. So frequency with watering is very important. I appreciate you sticking with me through this 5-step tutorial, and I wish you better results in grass seeding here this spring, summer, fall, whenever that might be for you.